Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun.
No.
Nope.
Just stop. This is a sham.
Welcome to DBL. I'm in for Jeff today, but do not worry. He's here, but he's just joining us from home. Jeffrey, how are you, sir?
Ooh, loving life.
Loving life.
That's what's up, man. Good to see you.
It's good to see you as well. Also, we have really exciting news. Pepsi has come out with an epic 4-minute preview of the Super Bowl halftime show.
Let's watch all of it now.
No, it starts with rapper Eminem spitting out rhymes. Did you hear me say it? With his alter ego Slim Shady. And then he gets the call from Dr. Dre to perform on The Big Show. Snoop Dogg gets the call while driving on a California freeway.
No seatbelt.
That's true. Mary J. Blige's photo shoot session is interrupted with a text that she's also performing. And of course, Dr. Dre appears on a beach outside LA. The group plus Kendrick Lamar unite at the end on their way to the show where they will all perform together for the first time ever. Take a look. Dudes, I'm kind of here for this. Am I really dorky?
No,
I'm
not
so
at all.
into this. Tell me, Al, what do you think?
It's interesting, Jeff. You know, really what we're looking at is a classic rap show. It's crazy to think that, you know, these songs have been out for 20, 25, 30 years to the point where I'll be looking at them with my kids and my daughter will be like, who is that? You know, so it's really interesting. But I really do think this speaks to the times that rap music that was this kind of music that was marginalized and considered violent and misogynistic, and there are tones of that. It just shows that over a period of time, like Jeff, I'm sure you're like me, like some of those songs, like you relate your coming of age to.
Oh my God, in the city.
I mean, just hearing that song, I know where I'm at in my life, right? Whether it was high school or college or coming out of college, it goes back to, that's what music does to me. It brings me back. And it's so weird, Al, how old we're getting when we're like, you kids don't know what music was. Like, we're referencing as historians NWA. You know, it's just weird when we have to start referencing things like that. And like, you guys don't know what rap music is, but it's true, man. These guys getting together, I'm almost too excited about it. I don't want to build it up so much that it's a letdown. I just want it to be what it's going to be, and I think that's going to be amazing.
I agree. Hip-hop royalty, right?
Absolutely. And just like, you know, I really just feel like it sums up adulthood, and that when you start, you feel like a gangster, like the whole world better watch out. Yeah. And then 25 years later, you're walking down the beach in a trench coat. Just trying to figure it out. Your friend's in a fur coat in the middle of the summer. It's just like hot. Life comes at you fast.
It's very steamy in that coat. All right, I'm just really excited. In the city. All right, Britney Spears. Oh, we're
Tori's ruining it for me.
She really is. Like, I don't know if I can still listen to it.
In the city. Britney Spears may be free from her conservatorship, but a court battle with her dad, Jamie, is never going to stop, it feels like. So yesterday, during a hearing, Britney's lawyer accused Jamie Spears of using millions of dollars of her money to spy on her. Jamie still wants Britney to pay his legal fees and for Britney's health records to be unsealed. But the judge didn't make a ruling, instead pushed it all to another hearing set for this summer. Meanwhile, Jamie Lynn, the sister, is firing back at Britney's cease and desist letter. Jamie Lynn's lawyer said the letter doesn't outlaw any legal wrongdoing on Jamie Lynn's part, and that Britney is being a bully with her threatening social media posts. Britney then fired back on Instagram, are you exhausted yet? Calling Jamie Lynn a, quote, selfish little brat after Jamie Lynn said it was weird for Britney to say she would buy a house for their mom if she left their dad years ago. I'm exhausted reading that, Jeffrey.
You guys remember the movie Armageddon, of course, right?
Of course.
I cry in it all the time.
Always.
This is what's going on. That comment coming towards the earth at 1,000,000 miles an hour is named Britney. And either we're going to blow it up, meaning the media is going to make herself implode, or we're going to have to do something to get this story out of the headlines. Something's going to happen. These worlds are going to collide, and we do this story every day. And somebody's going to break at some point, whether it be the sister, the father, or Britney herself. And this story is going to go south really fast.
I kind of agree with Jeff, and I never do, Al.
Yeah, I mean, this is a powder keg. And, you know, Jeff, as I'm listening to these comments where they're just like calling somebody selfish and a brat, I feel like these should be being yelled through a slammed door between two sisters, not like here for the media. I've never seen a family's sad story play out for this long, and now we're pushing this off until the summer. We need to have some definitive answers about, can somebody speak about their sister? Can somebody go after past money that is now lost? What are we doing with this? Because it seems like we're just extending this, and it's getting uglier and uglier. And like Jeff said, something's going to give. And we don't want this to get ugly. Britney has very passionate fans, and it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, my dad once represented brothers that were breaking up a business together, and it got so heated that they had to call their team had to call each other and say which staircase they were going up in case they didn't want to meet like on the staircase. It's so sad, but it's so petty and silly, but that's how it gets. All right, former Playboy bunny Holly Madison says living in the Playboy mansion was like being in a cult. In a new docuseries called Secrets of the Playboy Mansion airing next week, Holly says she was gaslit to think of Hugh Hefner as a nice man. Holly appeared on The Girls Next Door with fellow playmates Kendra and Bridget for 6 seasons, starting in 2005, but says every aspect of her life was controlled by Hugh during that time. Watch this.
You had a 9 o'clock curfew. You were encouraged to not have friends over. You weren't really allowed to leave unless it was like a family holiday.
Are there rules, like can you have boyfriends at all?
No.
You're not allowed
Half
to.
is our boyfriend.
How do you know when you're called to the master bedroom? Do you have nights?
Yeah. The sex always happened kind of like the same time, the same night.
Huh. I've heard the Playboy Mansion's not as like glamorous as you'd think, but I've never heard it spoken in such a way of like they were so controlled. What do you think, Al?
I mean, I don't know if this is a cult, Jeff. I mean, one big compound where a group of people that all kind of look exactly the same are forced to sleep with one older man. I mean, I don't know how we could call this a cult. That would be ridiculous. Really, with those rules, though, this is like being at your mean grandma's house.
Yeah, it is.
Those are mean grandma rules. You can't have no friends, 9:30, lights out.
Is Hugh Hefner's reputation going to change now that we're hearing this? He is known as like the guy with the satin robe, and is he now going to be like weird cult guy? Jeff, what do you think?
Al, you make a great point. That's actually a perfect analogy, especially living in today's era. But go back 10, 20, 30 years, that was the place to be. Even when I lived in LA, I was like, man, I just want to go to one party at the Playboy Mansion. I never obviously got in there. But isn't there something to say for a mutual agreement? These girls, again, I'm not condoning what he did, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying, didn't they agree? Like, listen, this is what it is. We're going to be Hugh Hefner's girlfriend, all three of us. We know that. We're going to have certain rules. But at the same time, we're going to be famous. People are going to want to interview us. We're going to do the Tonight shows. We're going to represent this brand. And doing so, either you agree or you don't, because there's 100 million other girls in line to take that spot.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
So
it's not fair. That's exactly right. That's accountability.
Al, if you get perks, can you be in a cult? Because he's absolutely right. Those are major perks that, can you call that a cult if you're actually getting forward ahead in life because of that?
I mean, if you look at every cult, I mean, when we looked at the NXIVM cult, I mean, there were perks to moving up, to recruiting new people. There are perks to doing that. There are incentives. That's why people stay in them, to go up in ranks. So I do think there were perks. But Jeff, you know, as you're speaking, it made me think that there's a show on E, the woman that was that married Hank Baskett. Which one was that? That played Kendra Wilkinson. Yeah, she's got another show about her selling real estate now. So we've now seen this Playboy bunny in the Playboy house. We saw her with her man, and now post her man on a thing, and that's what people are signing up for.
Yeah,
so Jeff's right.
That can't exclude the fact that you can also feel like you're being controlled by someone, even if it's a mutual experience.
I think he definitely was.
Yeah, interesting. Coming up on DBL, a 22-year-old woman stuck in an 8-year-old body. She shares her story in a new reality show, and we talk with Shauna Ray about how she navigates life with this rare medical condition. She's amazing. Plus, a really scary moment on live TV when a reporter gets hit by a car. She was okay, and the show went on. We'll show how she kept going, and again, her name's Tori, so she's fine.
Closed captioning provided by...
Hi.
Tori, I was going to ask you, because we were talking about, is this a cult?
Yeah.
But I would argue that, because I watch a lot of cult documentaries, that a lot of things, there's a documentary about the Bikram yoga guy, and he made a cult.
Well, he was actually quite abusive in some respects.
Right, but I think most cult leaders are. I mean, I think it starts with, you feel they tend to recruit people that are kind of lost at a different point. Yeah, and they did this with the NXIVM, except they went after rich people. There's a documentary on Amazon Prime called Lula Rich about the LuLaRoe leggings. And people, and people were saying that was a cult of people in there.
Yeah, who said,
this woman
and American Apparel also?
Yeah, she said she looked around, she was like, wait a second, all the women around me are from the Midwest and blonde and in their mid-30s. She's like, I think I'm in a cult.
Wow.
Yeah, it just hit you, you know. But I think for a while, you're like, these are my friends, and then you realize, oh, I don't talk to my sister anymore.
I know.
Oh, my husband
They do it
left.
so gradually.
It's very slow, but after a while, they cut you off from any other anchor besides them. And I just think anything can become a cult very quickly.
I agree with you, and some people would even say, I'm not saying this, I'm saying some people might even say national organized religion in some respects. Some people could even call it, I mean, some people go all the way to say that's a cult. I'm not saying that. I'm also saying, though, that I find it legally weird that they're allowed to speak like this, because I imagined Hugh Hefner, if you lived there, you would had a NDA for in perpetuity.
Tell everybody what that is.
So that just means a non-disclosure agreement, meaning like you can't speak about anything that happened at the Hefner household for forever, in perpetuity. And there are NDAs like that. Trump made a lot of people sign that so that you will never fear being told or have your reputation tarnished.
Broke the NDA.
Right, and the problem is you can always break it, but these girls seem as if it almost feels like the NDA just ran out because they're all talking about it. So I just wonder if Hugh prepared for that, because he would have a good legal team. All right, welcome back. There's this thing with live TV where you never know what something might go wrong. All right, so check out what happened to one reporter in West Virginia who was on the scene of a water main break. And a warning to our viewers, this video is a little graphic. Take a look.
Unfortunately, in freeze thaw, we see this water main breaks.
Got hit by a car, but I'm okay. I just got hit by a car, but I'm okay, Tim.
That's the first for you on TV, Tori.
Woo! We're all good. I'm okay. Yeah, you know, that's live TV for you. It's all good. I actually got hit by a car in college, too, just like that.
Wow.
I am so glad I'm okay.
I also got hit by a car in college.
Yeah.
Just like that, to be honest. What do you think also about, she's the one-woman band, so she had to put the camera back. She had to put the lights back. After being hit by a car, bravo to her. I can see her having a future.
I would think that people in our booth would have cut to commercial, Jeff, but, you know, maybe they just make them a little tougher in West Virginia. That was...
They didn't have video.
I cannot believe... Yeah, I guess not. What do you... I've done things on camera that I felt were dangerous, and I think it was in the mid-aughts, right before things got super legal. Jeff, can you tell us one of the many scary things you've done on television?
Listen, I have so much to say about this story. One, the dynamic between the two remind me of me and Tori, because her name's Tori, and the guy's like, hey, what are you gonna? The guy didn't even care.
No.
She got hit by a car. He's like, that's a first.
It's like about that water man.
That was amazing. Second, Tori's like, she's got a future. She set up her own camera in the middle of the street. I think she needs some more tips on where to set up her camera. I don't know if she has a future.
She does. She's going to Pittsburgh.
Listen, I love being out in the field. She definitely has a future. I'm just joking around. Being out in the field, learning those things, editing, lighting, sound, trying to do that stuff yourself, man, that's like a university of broadcasting, and she's getting that experience. Even though she got hit by a car, she's going to be fine in her future. I think she'll look back and laugh herself at this.
I agree. She's going to Pittsburgh to do more reporting. And what's funny is the gentleman who was like, well, that's a first for you, Tori, who is the Jeff in this situation. He didn't have video, so he just thought she might like have gotten bumped.
Oh, you know, he got emails like, how could you disregard your reporter's health? First of all, how did that car not see her, Jeff?
There might have been a
She's
water
a
main
glowing
break.
human in the middle of a dark street.
I think he did like what I would do. Like, here's what I would, if Tori got hit by a camera or by a car or a camera, who knows with Tori. But I would be like, oh my goodness, Tori, are you okay? And immediately we went to commercial, I'd be like, ha ha ha, what an idiot, Tori, you got hit by a car.
Oh, God, I love this show, and I hate it, too. Coming up on DBL, a new reality show that features the life of a 22-year-old. She's living in an 8-year-old's body, though. Shauna Ray tells us all about how she's not letting this rare medical condition slow her down. No, she's not.
We all know we have to report our income and deductions for tax time. But what about people who earn money illegally? A viral tweet from a venture capital firm with more than 26,000 likes reminds criminals to claim ill-gotten gains as income. So let's verify. Does the IRS require people to report income from illegal activities? Our sources are the Internal Revenue Service and U.S. Supreme Court records. While the tweet is drawing a lot of laugh emojis, tax officials have been cracking down on criminals for 100 years. In 1921, Congress changed the tax laws to require people to pay taxes on all income, regardless of how it was obtained. A few years later, the federal government won a tax evasion case against a South Carolina bootlegger, which set the stage for the prosecution of mobster Al Capone in 1931. The government has also gone after a spy and his wife for tax evasion after they failed to declare $2 million in payments from the Soviet Union. Today, the IRS not only warns criminals to fill out their taxes, but also tells them how to do it if they've accepted a bribe, accepted a kickback, or made money from illegal activity, like selling drugs. People who steal property must also report the item's fair market value as income unless they return it to the rightful owner in the same tax year. So, it's true. The IRS does require people to report income from illegal activities. In fact, it's more common than you think in recent years. The IRS has a website dedicated to the medical marijuana industry, which is illegal at the federal level, even though many states have legalized marijuana sales. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. Imagine being diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer at 6 months old. Now, treatment would allow you remission, but with a cost. You would stop growing. Our next guest is the star of the new TLC show about her life as a 22-year-old woman standing at 3 feet and 10 inches tall. Check out Shauna Ray. Please welcome Shauna Ray and her mama Patty. How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
We're doing very well. If you can, Shauna, for us, go back to when your doctor first told you you were fully grown. Can you paint us a picture of what that felt like to you, not from the doctor's point of view, but from you, inside?
So that happened when I was 16 years old. So I had to take that time to get to know who I was as a person.
Yeah.
And what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are, and just kind of take that into the future versus just knowing I'm going to hide behind being average height because I can't hide behind that anymore. I'm going to obviously be different, and I had to be comfortable with that.
Wow, that is strength. Patty, what was your reaction?
I was concerned about Shauna being smaller than a normal person. You know, it was like, how do we come up with the answers for some of these challenges?
Yeah.
Understandably, there's so many questions in the moment, but in that moment, did you, Shauna, think that this news would affect your mental health and the rest of your life the way that it has?
I knew the news was going to affect my mental health, and it did. I took a lot of time by myself. I did things that I needed to do to keep my mental health healthy, because it is something that can completely change the way you look at yourself. And I didn't want to look in the mirror and not think that I was good enough. I wanted to always be powerful enough, no matter what I looked like, that I know deep down I am okay. I'm good enough. I'm a normal human being. I just have a very obvious scar from my cancer.
It's got to be an awkward thing when strangers pry about your appearance, Shauna. So how do you respond to them?
We can't have children at the bar.
I want to get a tattoo.
How old are you?
There is an age requirement. I'm 22. The way I react to someone is the way they react to me. If they don't understand the situation, I do try to educate them. If they're just kind of asking questions because they're just trying to be nosy in a better sense, then it becomes, okay, well, let me tell you what's really going on, and if you can't understand that, then I'm just gonna keep joking off my height, joking off this question that you have until you get the point that it's kind of crossing a line.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I do try to educate people first.
So Shauna, in episode 1, you said your romantic life sucks and that you attract creeps. So what bothers you most when it comes to people who romantically pursue you?
I have to get to know someone. I have to develop that trust. And those first glances, they come off as you just perceiving me as who I am physically. And that's where the issue lies, because you may be attracted to my personality, but it's going to look like you're just attracted to my physicality. And that's kind of where that danger or that caution takes place.
But you know, Shauna, it's so real, and there's so many dynamics that are playing into that, including the fact that you're now on television, so people are getting to know you in a whole different way. Do you think that's going to change the dynamics of people who might be interested in being romantically involved with you? Like, will that change your perception of that?
I think being on television now is obviously going to change the perspective that people view me from romantically. I think it adds a layer of safety. It can also add a layer of, okay, I have to be cautious now because maybe it's just because of the television series.
Right.
And that's what I'm hoping doesn't happen. I'm hoping to attract positive people, people who are self-aware and aware of situations that go on in their life and have respect and are just not judgmental. That's what I really hope people take away from this, and that's really what I hope to attract in people.
Ooh, thank you so much for being here, Shauna and Patty. DBL Nation, you can catch TLC's I Am Shauna Ray. She blew us all away today, available now on Discovery Plus. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Additional consideration is brought to you by.
Are you on?
As of January 15th, all private health insurers are now required to reimburse Americans for the at-home test that they buy. So a lot of Americans may be testing themselves for the first time. And Verify is here to make sure that you have all the vetted information when you need it. So let's verify. What are some of the most common reasons for a false negative or a false positive, and how can you avoid them? We went to these 3 experts, Dr. Amish Adalja, Dr. Gigi Granval, and Dr. William Maurice. So, what could cause a false negative? Our experts listed 3 things that could go wrong. The test was taken too early, and you're not infectious yet, but maybe soon. The test was taken too late, meaning you might have had it yesterday, but you're no longer infectious, or the test was taken incorrectly.
When you think about the false negative, it's really making sure you follow the package insert directions and get a good specimen.
False negatives are a problem for public health because if somebody thinks they're negative and they're actually not, and they might go on to infect other people because they're not, people they're laying their guard down.
Okay, what about false positives?
False positives are rare.
They may have, for example, an expired test kit. They may have done the test kit wrong. And in those situations, you may want to repeat it. That's why those test kits come with 2.
False positives are more of a problem just logistically in life.
So what can you do to make sure that you get a good sample and therefore an accurate test?
When it comes to rapid antigen tests, I always recommend people watch a video if they haven't done it before.
And that's our top tip for getting it right. Companies like Abbott, which makes the Binax Now at-home test, have their own instructional videos. And if you follow the instructions to a T, you'll get your results in about 15 minutes. That was a lot of information, so we put it all on our website, and we can send it to you right to your phone. Just text the word Verify to this number, 202-895-5599. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
And millions of Americans ordered their at-home COVID test yesterday when the government's site went live 1 day early. But there may be something else to pay attention to when you get those tests. We got a great question sent in to us by Denise Halfacre from Woodland.
Is it true that the COVID home tests have an expiration date? Should we be concerned about this?
So let's verify. Is there an expiration date on at-home COVID tests? Our sources, the CDC, the FDA, and the SF Chronicle, with interviews from medical experts. Bottom line is yes, we can verify at-home rapid antigen COVID tests have expiration dates, but the shelf life varies from brand to brand. Pharmacists warn about expiration dates and say using old tests could mean inaccurate results. It is recommended to get a PCR test for the best results. Denise bought this test kit 2 weeks ago at a CVS in Atomas. She immediately noticed the expiration date on the back, March 2022. She told me we cannot hoard these kits for the in case you're exposed days if they can expire so quickly. It's important to note that the FDA has extended the shelf life of Abbott's Binax Now COVID test to a 15-month window. Also, the Care Start COVID test was increased to 16 months of a shelf life. So the question is, can you use an expired test? Experts say not to use the test past the expiration date printed on the box unless you know for certain it's been given an extension. So we have a link to the FDA's database of approved at-home tests to help you out. Just head on over to the links section at abc10.com.
We're almost through the first month of 2022, and we've got some killer deals for you from our friends at Morning Save. You're welcome. Check it out. All right, what do you have for us today, Steph?
I've got some wonderful products and even better deals for you guys today, and you do not want to miss them. So first up, we've got the Him Vision UV Free Light Therapy Lamp. This deal includes one light and one charger. So normally this is as much as $50, but we've got it for only $20, Tori. So it saves everyone at home 60%. Now, Tori, we've got the Diamond Muse 1 Carat XO Link Bracelet. So this deal includes one diamond bracelet available in white rose or yellow gold, plated over sterling silver.
Wow.
Normally, this is $929.
I was worried. Okay.
This is the deal of the century, Tori. It's only $129. Now, Tori, we've got everyone's favorite Cuisinart 5-piece knife set. And the best bit, it's got matching sheaths and a cutting board. So normally this set is as much as $78.
That's not even bad for that.
We've got it for only $29, which means everyone at home is saving 63%. And last but certainly not least, we've got Westinghouse Dry and Style Hot Air Blower Brush. So it means you can simplify your routine by drying and styling at the same time. Normally, it's as much as $60, but we've got it for $29, saving our viewers 52%.
It's like a secret club where we all win. Head on over to morningsave.com, right, to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com just right on your smartphone. Thank you so much, Steph. Those things look good, especially the diamonds. Has either of you been hit by a car? I was just wondering.
I have not.
Jeffrey? Oh, goals. Okay, DBL is new every day. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye, guys.